Hi friends, it's Mari here for Honeybee Stamps. I'm going to be creating this card that you can see here on the screen featuring products from the brand new Modern Spring release. I'm going to start my project off here by adding a little bit of texture to my card front using this Scattered Seeds background stencil. I'm just using my low tack tape to tape my card front onto that stencil on the back of the paper there. And here you can just see I'm going to be using a really sparkly, glittery product, and I will definitely link up to some products that are very similar to this in the description box below. I'm using my Nuvo spatula here through that stencil just to create this gorgeous, really pretty, kind of an iridescent sparkly background for my card front. So I'm just going to finish applying this. I will take the stencil quickly to the sink and get that all washed up, but here you can see that this is just a gorgeous texture and sparkle and shine that adds to my card front. Now I've die cut out the wooden crate die cuts here using that wooden crate die set, which is really cool. And I'm using a combination of Stormy Sky and Faded Jeans to ink blend onto this paper. So I started with the Faded Jeans, and then I'm just going to use a little bit of the Stormy Sky on the edges of the paper. And this is just going to create a little bit of darkness around the outside edges to create that little bit of depth with this piece. Here you can see how that crate fits together there. Those two die cuts layer on top of each other. I've also die cut out a bunch of the Whimsical Spring Flowers dies as well, die cuts as well. And I'm using my Waffle Flower mat and my Honeybee Stamps blending brush here to add some iced spruce distress oxide to these pieces. The color palette that I'm using is definitely inspired by the Modern Spring paper pad. If you haven't seen that yet, definitely check that out. I do have a video on my YouTube channel where I unbox the most of the Modern Spring collection, and that paper pad is shown there, but it's just so beautiful. And the color palette is just, I love it so much. So I'm using a combination again of the Faded Jeans and some Tattered Rose, as well as the Ice Spruce. And those three colors really run through that paper pad, and they're just a really gorgeous soft color palette for this really pretty spring card. So just going to colorize. You can see here all of the different floral bits, trying to use a little bit of a darker hand around the outside edges of the floral blooms, and then just a little bit of a lighter hand on the inner parts, and then the little die cut pieces that go in the center of the flowers, I'm just leaving most of those white and just going ahead and adding some color to all of these different pieces. So that Whimsical Spring Flowers set is really adorable, and you get a ton of die cuts from those dies to create lots of really fun little bouquets. Now this is the Lovely Layers Bug die set. This is one of the dies from that set. You could create a butterfly, a dragonfly, or a bee from those dies, and I'm creating obviously a butterfly. I wanted my butterfly to be the pink and blue tones again. So I'm using my smallest detail Honeybee blending brush here to add a little bit of darker color at the very edges of the wings, and then just a little bit of a lighter blend going in towards the center. And then I'm going to also use some of the Faded Jeans on this butterfly as well, just to create that little bit of pink and blue on my pretty lovely layered butterfly. I love these lovely layer sets, and there's 2 or 3 sets actually in this collection, in this release, and just so fun. I really love them, and they're just so easy to create with, and you can create some really fun embellishments and different little pieces for your cards. So here you can just see I'm adding a little bit of that really pretty light blue here just on the inside of the butterfly, or on the, I guess the body of the butterfly and the inside of the wing. And here you can just see again, I'm going to do that. I'm going to add these together, layer them together with a little bit of foam adhesive. So I'll just add a little foam adhesive bit between those layers. I also am going to add some color to the top layer with the darker blue. Here you can just see I'm going to blend the body portion with that darkest blue and add that on. So it's really going to pop on that butterfly. Now I'm going to put my wood crate together here with a little bit of foam adhesive. And I'm just using a little bit on the sides here, and that's just going to give that wood crate top portion some dimension from the bottom, and just make that really dimensional. And what I'm going to do then is put my little flowers inside of this basket. I think it's going to be super cute. So there's a lot of different ways that you could use this basket. I'm sure that your imagination is just running wild right now thinking about all of the different things that you have in your stash that you could use with this wooden crate die set. It's really, really cool. I love how it also embosses the grain of the wood onto the pieces. I think that's really super cool. Now I'm going to put the little floral pieces together and get those all ready to go. This one here in particular, I wanted to put a little bit of foam adhesive on this piece, and then there's another little piece that goes inside of that, which I've used a little bit of the darker blue one. So you can just see how sweet these whimsical flower spring blooms are going to be for inside of that crate. There's some little tulips here that you saw me color up, and of course onto that ice spruce leafy branch that is going to finish up these little tulip florals. And these are all going to be layered inside of my wooden crate. And that's just going to be really, really sweet when it's all finished. Now, what I wanted to do was put these into the crate, and then you'll see me use some press and seal. So I'll get these all placed into the little crate, and then instead of trying to glue them all together individually, what I'll do is I'll just put some press and seal over top, which will keep all of the different flowers in place that it touches. And then I can go ahead and start to get this adhered onto my card front. So I've kind of got those everything where I want them. Now you can see how I've put the press and seal on top there. Now I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to add some foam adhesive and liquid adhesive onto the back here, and then adhere that onto my card front. Now I have adhered the card front onto my top folding A2 size card base already with some dimensional adhesive, so that's all ready to go. And now all I have to do is just add this crate onto that and finish up my card. So I'm just going to take the release paper off of the foam adhesive that I have adhered onto the back of this crate and these floral pieces. Of course, the foam adhesive is going to keep all of the different pieces together that it's touching there. And then there's a few little pieces on the front that I will have to adhere on with a little bit of my Honeybee Stamps liquid glue tube here as well. So I'm just adding a little bit of extra adhesive onto the back because this does have to stick onto that product that I did use through that stencil. So I just wanted to make sure I added a little bit of extra adhesive to make sure that this sticks to that sparkly product on my card front. And I'm just going to flip this over here and then just gingerly place it down into place, trying to make sure that I get it kind of roughly centered on my card. Now I'll just peel that off. I'm holding on to those little floral pieces that are in the front. And those little pieces now I'll just add on with my little bit of extra adhesive here, and that will finish up my sweet little wooden crate with my beautiful little floral pieces. And I love how this looks. The color combination is so beautiful. I think it's just so soft and so pretty for spring. And this card could be given for almost any occasion. It's really, really versatile. And there are so many really fun new sentiments in the Modern Spring release that you could add. Or I'm sure you already have some sentiments that you could add to this as well in your stash. So I'm just going to finish up. I am using my Honeybee Stamps reverse tweezers here. I always find that those tweezers are just the perfect tool for adding these little bits of details. Some of the little pieces I wanted to add with a little bit of dimensional glue dot as well to the front of the card, just to add that tiny wee little bit more dimension onto that card front. So here you can just see, I'm just going to fuss with this little flower here. And I love how there's just little pops of that tattered rose in amongst the pink. And then now I'm going to add in a little, another little bloom. And you can see I've also added the foliage in there as well. Now I'm going to put my little butterfly together here, as I mentioned earlier, with a little bit of foam adhesive here. And you can just see how the body lines up there, so that now you can just see how the wings look like the butterfly is actually flying. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to the darker body part that I ink blended with the darker blue ink, and just layer that over that body. And then here you can just see I am going to place this onto my card front with a little bit of foam adhesive as well, just to give it that little bit of extra pop onto my project. And I can't remember if I added a little bit of liquid adhesive to these. Yes, I did. I added a little bit of extra liquid adhesive to the foam, just because, again, we're adding this onto that shiny product through this that I added through the stencil. So it's going to be important just to add that little bit of extra stick so that it stays adhered to that mixed media product on our card front. Now this sentiment here is from the Bitty Buzzwords Bloom set, and I did die cut that from some blue and some white, and you will see me right away here layer those together for the sentiment once I get my butterfly placed here. I just wanted the butterfly, I wanted all edges of the butterfly to be inside of the margin of the card, and just kind of like almost looking like it's just ready to land on these really pretty flowers. And here you can see the sentiment. Here I've got the scripty smile cut from the scripty die, using the scripty die out of some really pretty blue cardstock that coordinates nicely with the oxide inks that I've used here. And I'm going to glue that to the shadow die that I've cut from white cardstock. So I'm just using, again, my precision or my reverse tweezers here, just ensuring that I get this into the right spot. And I'm going to add a little bit of my Honeybee Stamps Precision Liquid Glue to the back of that and adhere that onto the front of my wood crate. I love how this looks. I think it's just so pretty and so classy and soft and lovely. And I think this is a type of card that would just make someone's day if they were to receive this. I'm finishing off with some really nice shiny stickles that actually match up nicely with that product I used through the stencil. And this is just going to coordinate so nicely and add a little bit of sparkle and shimmer and shine to the wings of the butterfly and also to the centers of the little flowers. And I just love to finish my cards off, well, not always, but quite often with a little bit of sparkle and shine. I just like that look. So finishing that off here, and once I'm all finished here, I'm going to show you close up what my card looks like, and I'll just show you in the light how pretty it is with that beautiful kind of iridescent sparkle. I think it's just gorgeous, and I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you were inspired, and please check the links in the description box below to all of the products that I've used today from Honeybee Stamps. I love how this turned out, and I hope you did too. Have an amazing day, friends. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.